Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you very, very much for being here. Very briefly, to my new subscribers, thank you very, very much. To my established ones, of course, I adore you. Donations, thank you very, very much. And I continue to do private readings. So if you're interested in that, in the drop box below is an email address, soulprint888@gmail.com. Just send me a quick request for information and I'll send you out everything you need to know. So the reason this is going to be a mini, I hope. I'm starting to get annoyed with Trump and the annexation of Canada and erasing the border and the 51st state. When he started talking about it, I said, geez, this sounds an awful lot like Russia and Ukraine, right? So it got me wondering, whose idea is it? Where did Trump get this notion in that pea brain of his that this would be a good idea? So I tootled off into a geography website, and this is what I found out. Canada is 4,200 miles apart from Russia. Our northern part, our most northern tip, and Russia, that's the distance. That's like 6,700 kilometers. To go from like Toronto to Edmonton, it's about 3,000. That's not a huge distance if you think about it. And it's separated by the Bering Strait. Now, so my next question was, okay, well, what's with Greenland? What's going on there? Well, Greenland is 2,100 kilometers from Greenland to Russia, which is about 1,300 miles. These are not big distances, people. And I suspect that that idea has been planted in his brain by somebody who might possibly have the initials VP and lives in a great big country that's currently attacking another country. So let's take a look at this, shall we? I suspect what is going on is that this is more about what Russia wants in terms of landmass, finding minerals, the riches of the country, so oil, minerals, etc., to supplement what he wants, as opposed to what the idiot in the White House wants. Because honestly, I bet if you asked him to point out Greenland on a map, he couldn't do it. All right. Canada, he might find because he just has to point, north. I can't help but wonder if there hasn't been sort of a conversation that says, well, listen, you go after these two countries. Don't you worry, because I'm going to let your country be. And, you're going to get stronger and stronger as a result. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And I'm not doing like conspiracy theories or anything. I just think that by now he should have moved on to some other topic, and he isn't. Now, this is the thing. Canada's never going to become a part of the United States, and ain't never going to become a part of Russia. So what's going on there? What's behind that? Let's take a quick and a limited cards, I hope. I want to see exactly where this idea is coming from and what the purpose or intention of this, because I'm sorry. I don't for one second think that this was some brainwave that 45 had all by himself. So, question, what's behind U.S. annexing Canada and Greenland? I'm going to throw them both in there. U.S. annexing Canada and Greenland, U.S. annexing Canada and Greenland. Good Lord. You wouldn't even think that would be a tongue twister, right? Let's see what we've got here, shall we? Okay. We're starting off with the Chariot. So, in part, this sort of explains Trump's scattershot um, way of going about this, right? He says these things, he doesn't really understand what he's saying. He forgets that, Canada, hey, we burnt down your White House once. Just saying. The US has already tried years ago, a couple hundred years ago, to grab Canada. It didn't work then, and it's not going to work now. But what you have is that sort of scatter shot. If you saw my video that I put out on Wednesday, I talked about the fact that Trump's head right now is like a pinball machine, right? And that ball's just going all over the place. There's no sort of logic. And that explains why I'm going to do this. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to charge you these tariffs. Oh, no, I'm not. This back and forth thing that's going on with him. But he is under the control of a higher master, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. When things aren't going well and somebody offers you something that you think is going to make you stronger, more powerful, it's really hard to say no. And based on the behavior that we've seen from 45, we understand that he doesn't have a great deal of impulse control. He doesn't think about the consequences. He just reacts. And so if somebody is handing him a golden cup, you better bet he's going to try to grab it. Temperance. This is about the balance. But it's a balance between, VP and 45. I'm getting really careful about the words I say. I'm sure you've noticed. So he balances or hands out in easier bites what he tells this fool. And we know for 45, everything is transactional, right? It's you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And honestly, they're now starting to question whether he is a Russian asset in Congress. So, that's telling you something, right? Things have spiraled a little bit out of hand. He VP is feeling the pressure. Things in Ukraine are not going as well as I think he anticipated, right? I mean, think back. It was supposed to be like a 2-week war and Ukraine was going to be annihilated. Well, that didn't happen. And the bottom line is that things have not been going well for that war. Because the injustice of it resonates. And it's not only injustice, but it is the fact that you've got somebody who is truly trying to grab huge land masses because he sees himself as this sort of supreme being. And so what you have is a supreme being hanging out with somebody who thinks he's an emperor. This is what you have, right? They have found an alliance. The problem is that you've got somebody who is very smart and very strategic and very crafty, dealing with somebody who goes through his life playing whack-a-mole. So it's very, very easy to control. And frankly, the more stress and aggravation that 45 has, in some ways, the better it is for the other guy. Make no mistake, they're in cahoots. But you know what? The devil and the lovers are not necessarily that far apart from each other. What they both want is a win. They both want to be the highest of the high. This is not going to work between the Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. This is not a good combination. So it's not it's not so much that this is something that the brainless one in the oval came up with. This is something that was planted in his head according to the energy. According to the energy, the tower just popped up. According to the energy that I read. So he's going to keep on. And it's interesting that as things south of where VP is, did not go as well as was anticipated. And of course, why is he going after that country? He's trying to get a direct route to the sea, right? Because that is like, it makes transportation of goods much easier. And what is between Russia and the sea is Ukraine. Well, okay, so maybe we'll go, instead of going, south, maybe I can go, I guess that would be east from Russia, Greenland, Canada. It's important that, Trump says such stupid things all the time that it's very easy to discount it. Oh, just him being him, he never. But what we've learned is that lately what he says, he actually means. And the more outrageous it is, the more likely he is to mean it. So it's very curious to me that as things weren't going so well south, somebody put the idea in 45's head that he should move in the other direction. It is remarkable to me that he's getting so much pushback, and yet he will not budge. He's not budging. He says it every day, all day long. Oh, it's going to be so beautiful to be our 51st state. No, it isn't. There are so many things that Canada has that the United States does not have. And I'm not talking about minerals and lumber and oil. I'm talking about healthcare. I'm talking about, approved same-sex marriages. I'm talking about legalized marijuana. I'm talking about things that would be stripped, frankly, if either country got a hold of Canada. But that's not likely to happen. But what I want to say is I want people to not brush it off. I want them to realize that he means it. But more, I want people to start recognizing, based on what I can see, where the initial idea came from, who or what is encouraging that to go forward, and what the motive is. I believe it was Trudeau was asked in an interview a little while ago, what the big difference is between Canada and the United States. And this is how he explained it. He said, if an American is traveling in Europe and somebody mistakes them for a Canadian, They're okay with that. They're pleased with that. That's good. If a Canadian is traveling in Europe and they are mistaken for an American, they're insulted. That's the bottom line. But you have somebody in the Oval who thinks he is so powerful. He's a puppet. He's an asset. And he's basically doing what he's told to do. So for Canada, don't minimize what he says. For the United States, recognize that he truly can, he truly does believe that he actually has the power to annex a country that has a greater landmass than the United States. A country that is just frankly bigger. But he doesn't get that. He doesn't understand that. And he thinks that saying things like, well, then the tariffs will go away, is somehow a selling point. Well, because he and that press secretary of his still haven't figured out what a tariff does to the consumer. He thinks that he can push a Made in America agenda, and he can. The problem is that, there's like a widget, okay, that goes from Canada to the US and back to Canada again, or the other way around, just simply in the automotive industry. Okay, well, so let's say you need that widget and it's produced in Canada. How fast do you actually think you're going to be able to build a plant, staff it, train the people to manufacture that widget? It's ridiculous, but he doesn't understand it. So we have to understand that he doesn't understand. In the comment section, somebody wanted to know just why they are so cruel. It's because they have no empathy. It's not a part of their makeup. So they don't see it as cruel because they have no capacity to feel what somebody else feels. It's a good thing you and me and the people of our countries understand. But we do need to realize that there are some people in very, very powerful positions who do not. All right. That's what I know about that. I will see you tomorrow for Pendulum Friday. Please put any questions you have in the comment section below. Take care and be well for now.